which isn't that expensive.
I will call this meeting to order at 4 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilmember White,
Here.
Member Eric Bennett,
Here.
Member Diane Guerna stated she would be absent this evening. Member Annie Plone. Here. Member Laura Schnurr.
Here.
Youth Council Member Carlos Luna. He may be attending a little late. Community Services Director Doug Story.
Here.
Alternate Member Dennis Salcedo.
Here.
Alternate Member David Valdivia.
Here.
All right, and we have the request for excused absence. Would you all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to All right, here we would ask for any adjustments to the agenda, if there was anybody that needed to make any adjustments or something that we saw needed to be changed. Is there any adjustments? I don't think so. And then if there was any conflict of interest, this is where we would disclose it in that, so we'll work on that if that was something we were working on in the agenda. But we're good for tonight. All right, also, the public restrooms are currently under construction. We do have the gymnasium that is open if anyone needs to use the restroom. The gymnasium over to our left is open and the restroom is available inside of it. And this is a public comment period, so this meeting will be open to the public and conducted in a virtual format to be inclusive of all participation preferences. Public comment participation is encouraged by emailing any comments to the city clerk's office or by calling in using the phone number provided on the front of the agenda. Do we have any public comments or items not on the agenda?
I have no written comments. Rudy, do we have any callers on the line?
I have no callers on the line.
All right. Moving on to our first items of business. So the first thing that we would like to talk about, and that was in the agenda that was posted for everyone, is the review of the City Council adopted policies and procedures specifically for this Parks and Recreation Committee. We did print out a copy of the different attachments that are for each of these various items. So you'll find one of those printed out for you so you can see it. Also, on the laptops in front of you is the agenda, and you guys can click through that and see those as well. But we wanted to make sure that you guys kind of understood what this committee was all about. This is something that our council instructed and encouraged our staff to pursue this. Right now, we're going to talk a little bit later in the meeting, but we're in the middle of our Parks Master Plan process, and one of our giant emphasis as part of this process has been community engagement. And so one of the things that we wanted to do was to offer opportunities for community engagement, and that's one of the key purposes for creating this committee, to offer opportunities for the community to get involved, but also to have a group of individuals that can help in getting the word out to their various networks and groups and helping us just be a voice for all the great things that are happening in Parks and Recreation. So it has some different areas in the specific policies. If any of you were able to review it, if you have any questions, raise your hand, or if you need some clarification on anything, please let me know. But it was included in the staff report for your review, but it's just going to be a guiding policy for us as we run these meetings and kind of why we're here. So If I'll turn it over to our committee, and if there's any questions, I'll be able to answer those. Good? All good. So then for each of these, as you look through the specific staff reports, one of the things that you will notice is the recommended action. And so this is the recommended action that whoever prepares the staff report, in this case, it was me. So what we'll do for this one is the recommended action is just to receive and file. So at this point, we'll take a motion, correct, from somebody on the committee would make a motion to receive and file that, and then there would be a second.
So for these ones, for the receive and file for this meeting, I put no motion needed.
Oh, even better.
Only because we're not
adopting
reviewing
them?
anything, we're not adopting
Okay.
anything. So this is more of an introduction, so I left
Perfect.
it as no motion needed.
Is it just on this one or all of them?
If we were to bring anything where there was action or discussion or input from the committee, then we would do a motion in a second because we need the agreeance in order to move it forward. But because this is just introductory
Okay.
and presentation, no motion.
Perfect.
Item C2 will need a motion, but that's it.
Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, so you guys can all follow along and kind of track any of those recommended actions. So if, like you said, if it was more specific, we had listed on there for everyone to see. So seeing no questions or comments about the policies and procedures, we can move on to the next item, which is chair and vice chair. So I'm gonna let Nicole take over those items for us.
All right, so this committee will need a chair and a vice chair just for decorum and order to conduct the meeting. It's also to help with adhering to topics on the agenda, just to make sure that nobody kind of goes astray, because we can only talk about items that are on the agenda. So that's another responsibility of the chair, and then the vice chair is just there to assist. And then also take on those responsibilities if the chair is unavailable. So the selection of chair and vice chair is the decision of the committee. So first, we would ask for any nominations or self-nominations. And then once all the nominations are received, I recommend you guys kind of have a discussion to kind of see kind of talk it through. And then we'll conduct an official vote. And we can do them individually. We can do them together if you would like, however the discussion kind of goes. So with that, I will turn it over to see if anybody wants to nominate anyone or do a self-nomination for chair or vice chair.
Since we don't know each other yet, are we allowed to have a conversation first, or
Sure, sure.
do you guys want to talk?
Sure. Are there any volunteers?
Maybe who
Well,
doesn't
since
want
there's
to?
only three of us up here.
Yeah.
I mean, the options are. And I don't mind doing either of those roles. If somebody wants to chair it, I'm more than welcome to co-chair or vice versa.
Mr. Bennett, can we do a mic check just to make sure your mic is
I'm
on?
sorry, I
Okay.
forgot to hit the little button.
Okay.
I don't mind doing either role. If somebody wants to chair it, by all means, have at it.
How about you, Annie? How do you feel?
I nominate both of you.
I'll second.
All right, I'll nominate myself for chair.
And then I'll nominate myself for co-chair
So I,
or vice chair or whatever the verbiage is.
you don't need a motion since you have two nominations.
We do need a motion just to solidify it.
I will move to appoint Laura Schnur as the chair and Eric Bennett as the vice chair.
And then we need a second?
Yes.
And I'll second.
Okay. Okay, and then we'll just do, because it's a committee, we do things a little more laxed in these. So I'm gonna say, if everyone is in favor, can I get aye?
Aye.
Any noes? Okay, then that motion passes. Congratulations.
All right. We are cruising along. Great job. So as we continue through the agenda, one of the things that we thought was really important for this process as we got started was to do something that allowed each of you to really gain a sense of what our department does. So being on the Parks and Rec Committee obviously closely ties you and associates you with the Community Services Department, which is the department that I run. And each of you have been involved in our community, and I've interacted with each of you in various ways through different organizations, through different phone calls, concerns, or different events and things that have come up. And one of the things that we wanted to give you the opportunity to do was to really understand all that we put together and all that we do as a department. The attachment that was included with this staff report really is a glimpse of who we are as a department and all the different things that we are doing. I wanted you to kind of get a glimpse of what our core values are as a department. So we listed them in the staff report. We want to make sure that everything that we do is community-centered. We're committed to creating those programs, maintaining those facilities to reflect the diverse interests, needs of a vibrant community. This is something that we want you to come in partnership with us. Inclusivity, quality of life, innovation. Those are all things that are core values to us. And our commitments is through engagement, right? We're dedicated to fostering a sense of community, encouraging social interaction, and making sure we're allowing for opportunities for our community to connect with each other, but also to engage with us as staff so that we can really provide great services. Physical health, cultural enrichment, fun and recreation, and learning and growth. So different commitments and things that we had. I have a great team with me that allows me to offer a lot of great services to our department. And I wanted to allow them to introduce themselves to you, give them an opportunity just to tell you briefly about some of the things that they oversee. So I am truly grateful for the two managers that I have, Kevin and Ashley to my right here. You guys are going to be able to interact with them through this process of being on this committee as well. And a lot of the projects, a lot of the events, and a lot of the things that we accomplish as a department definitely have their fingerprints on them as well. So I wanted to give them a few moments to just brag about the stuff that they're doing, but also inform you guys as a committee member so you really get a clear picture of who we are. So Kevin, go ahead.
Like I said, my name is Kevin Norville. I'm the Parks Maintenance Manager. We have about 24 staff that we manage, and we go around, we have 18 parks, 9 facilities, and 26 linear miles of right-of-way area that we maintain. In our prospective day, we could do anything from mow, edge, and blow to, maintaining bathrooms, to electrical, to plumbing, to any various different things, setting up for events, preparing for different things that, either council or the daily events that we have, setups, tear downs, maintaining fields, keeping the parks looking up, decreasing the liability, keeping the parks up to par for the sports leagues, and not only that, the playgrounds. That includes replenishing wood chips, trimming trees, the list goes on and on, maintaining the dog parks, like I said, the restrooms, stocking, unstocking, helping, like today we had an event, a ribbon cutting, so we helped with that as well. So like I said, we don't do it by ourselves. I have a team of about 24 guys that help and assist, and they do an amazing job. We do a lot through the course of the day, and it's all scheduled out. So if you have any questions, let me know.
I just want to say I have watched you guys in action, and it is truly impressive and amazing, so I'm happy to hear all of that.
Go ahead, Ashley, why don't you tell them all the great things in recreation that are going on?
Gladly. So hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Starr. I'm the Recreation Manager. I've worked for the city for nearly 21 years. So prior to moving over to Parks and Rec in 2022, I worked in building and safety and administration, and also served as the city's public information officer. So I've enjoyed all the functions that I've had here at the city, but by far recreation is the most fun job, and I'm so lucky to be a part of this team. So my team is responsible for all the fun and all the activities that happen in the city. Since we came back from COVID and basically increased our programming to in-person, we had 185% increase in programming in fiscal year 23. So we look forward to increasing that every year, adding more and more programs that the community is looking for. So we do everything from fitness programs to athletics, arts and crafts, dance. We have inclusive programming. In addition to all that, we also have all of our city events. So nearly 20 events, some of which are month-long series, like our concerts, our movies, all of our parades. So all the fun stuff, like I said, we're very glad to do it. And then in this year, we're actually adding 2 more events to our calendar just to make sure that we're reaching the whole community and be inclusive of everybody. So we're adding a Hispanic heritage event and a Day of the Dead event, and then we're expanding our Movies in the Park to a month-long series and also honoring Juneteenth on one of those days. So I don't do all this alone. I have a superstar team. I have 2 full-time employees, Heather and Eileen, and then a team of 14 part-time rec specialists that work the front counter. They make sure all of our events are successful, and we could not be successful without this whole team. Additionally, we manage all these programs out of the Community Recreation Center on Cherry and Oak Valley. That's a 24,000 square foot building that we have 3 basketball courts, 3 volleyball courts, several meeting rooms, and we rent it out for private special events as well. In our system for our rec desk is what we use for all of our programming. So we have 3,847 users that register for our programs throughout the year. So every year we see an increase in that, and we look forward to meeting the needs of our community. Happy to answer any questions.
It's a little bit just about what we do. In the attachment, you'll also see what was just sent to our entire community, which is part of our recreation guide. It explains all the different classes and programs that we offer. That's also included in here. Also, a summary of some of the events that we have. So we put in a bunch of old flyers. You'll notice some of those are older dates, just to give you a glimpse of all the things that we have been doing in terms of special events, just to kind of paint the picture for you. Also, at the very end, if you were able to make it through the entire document, which I know was a little bit large, is a copy of the budgets that we oversee. And so my department oversees 3 specific budgets. The recreation budget, which is the 1550. So anything in the numbers that have that sequence of 1550 and then a whole bunch of numbers after it. Those are things that fall under Ashley's programs and special events and 4th of July and concerts and all those types of things. And then 2 other areas, which is 6050, which is Kevin's area of all the grounds maintenance. So that's mostly parks and right-of-ways. When Kevin mentioned the 26 linear miles of right-of-way that we maintain. So if you're familiar with a lot of the different areas in Sundance or in Seneca, parts of Portero, parts of Seneca Springs Parkway, Starlight, Oak Valley Parkway. So those parkways, those medians, those center medians, those are all maintained by our crew. And that is managed by the fund 6050. And then 6,000, anything with the 6,000 and the sequence of numbers. That budget refers to our building maintenance, and so that oversees, like Kevin mentioned, the 9 facilities. Actually, it's going to be 10, right? So we just the city just purchased another facility, which we're excited. So we'll start maintaining that and doing some extra stuff on that building as well. So those 10 facilities and the maintenance of those facilities come out of that 6,000 fund. So just to kind of paint that picture and give you guys all a glimpse of the funding and the budgets that go into the programming and the maintenance and the building maintenance as well. So we tried to figure out how we could do that sitting in a room. So sitting in the council chambers, it's kind of hard to see all the things that we do. So we wanted to paint that picture for everyone. So if you have any questions about what we do, or if you want to ask Ashley or Kevin anything specific, feel free. I'll turn it over to each of you at this time. Thank you.
What's the 10th facility? Am I allowed to know?
You are allowed to know. So the city just purchased the two-story building on the corner of California and 5th. And it is going to be the PASS, we're calling it the PASS Resource Center. And so we're going to be in a partnership with the County of Riverside and then also San Jacinto Community College. And they're going to be running a lot of great services that aren't really represented in our PASS area right now for small businesses and business support. It's going to be a really great facility, and we're really excited to partner with those two agencies to offer some great services for our community. So we're excited to take that building on. It's the two-story one right next to the freeway. When you guys, that one right there, yeah. So we just purchased that one. So that's number 10 for us now. And then we have the PD facilities, the CRC, the City Hall, the VFW building, the wastewater treatment plant, the maintenance yard, the facilities maintenance yard, and wastewater, yeah. So.
Thank you, Doug.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions for that item? So let's keep on moving. So one of the things that we had mentioned is our that I wanted to give you an update on, and I just provided this update at our last city council meeting, which was the quarterly update on our Parks Master Plan. And so I wanted to include that into this agenda. These are the type of items that, in order, kind of like in a sequence, I would probably bring to this committee first and tell you guys all about it. And then from this update here, it would then go on to the city council meeting. But we just had that just last week. And so I wanted to let you know where we are in that process and what we were doing to work on that. And so, hold on, let me find my notes. I wanted to get the date right for when I did it, but I'm scrolling through this ginormous packet now, so I got to get to the next item here. It is a lot. It keeps going. I see pictures. No, I know. I'm not sorry. We have so many fun things when you scroll this fast. My goodness gracious. Hopefully none of you tried to print this at your house, and if you did, I apologize, because you're definitely out of all ink by now at your house. Okay, here it is. So the Parks Master Plan has been a process that we started a little bit ago, where council wanted us to be able to provide a document to the county or to the city, and it's similar to other documents that we have. So, for example, if you're familiar with the city's general plan, there's what we call guiding documents, and in our department, we don't necessarily have one of those right now. So we wanted to start this process, and one of the things that we have encountered, for example, in the past is as we've pursued things like grants, where we've tried to go after money that was available to us, a lot of times what they will ask is, what are your guiding documents saying is needed in your community? And we wanted to officially start this process so that we can now have this guiding document that can help us as we make decisions when it comes to capital improvement projects, when it comes to items that are that are needed in the community. What needs to be done next if funding becomes available? What do we want to do? So the Parks Master Plan was placed in the community services. The capital improvement project, our CIP, and we engaged an architectural firm that specializes in creating Parks Master Plans, and they partnered with us and have been helping us along that process. So RHA is the company that we have been partnering with. We started with them in the early summer, and I've been setting out on this journey. The first probably 40% of this process is all about community engagement. And so back in October and November, we set up some community outreach, some town hall meetings, and we set up some stakeholder meetings with staff, with council members, where they were all interviewed, and each of our council members and each of our staff members had an opportunity to answer some specific questions that are going into a survey that's going to be going out to the community. So in about 2.5 weeks, we're going to be releasing two different types of surveys to our community. So the first type of survey is called a statistically valid survey, and this statistically valid survey is administered by a firm, and they will ensure that the recipients of this survey is a representation of what our current demographic is. And so it's a way for us to make sure that we get a representative answer for the different questions. The second part of those surveys, the second survey that's come out will just be a general online survey that we can push out to the community in any way that we can. The reason that the statistically valid one is important is because when we publish the online version of that survey, that can be, sent to. That was loud thunder. That can be sent to a specific interest group, right? And so you might get some really specific feedback to one specific need in the community. And that's great, and it's great that need has risen to the surface, but this is an opportunity for us to make sure that the information that we receive from the community, we can now take that and compare it to what is in that representative survey and make sure that they match. And that's not to say that the things that come up in the online survey won't be considered, but it also helps us in terms of ranking, in terms of priority, in terms of funding. How do we make sure that we're putting all that in the right place? And so that was our process in wanting to start this. The other great thing about this Parks Master Plan process is it goes through and it looks at all of our current facilities, all of our current parks. And so they sent a team out to walk every square inch of our parks, and they score it and rank it for us and tell us what is a deficiency, what is something that needs to be fixed, what things are outdated, what things have changed in the building codes, and then ADA access and different things. And so it begins to create a very large list of needs that we have, whether it comes to parks, whether it comes to park maintenance and different amenities that we offer. The other thing that it takes a look at is what is our community currently using. And so in a community this size, about what is the standard number of soccer fields? What is the standard number of baseball fields? What is the standard number of, or what is comparable number of fields that have lights that allow teams to practice in the evenings or when it gets dark or when daylight savings happens or whatever it may be. And so we begin to take all of what we currently have in Beaumont, and then we can compare that to other cities of our similar size and other cities that are growing like ours in our region, and also begin to set that bar and say, okay, this is where maybe we're meeting a community our size's needs, and okay, here's might be where we're not, or where we need to grow or where we need to invest future opportunities. So that allows us to have conversations with developers that come in, and so maybe they are planning to build a park, and now it gives us an opportunity to say to them, hey, it's really important to us that you address some of these needs that we have, and here's things that we don't have. We need to be able to have those documents and those surveys and those analysis done, so that it's not just me or Kevin or Ashley is saying, hey, this is what Doug, Kevin, and Ashley want, but this is actually what the community and what Beaumont needs in order to grow and in order to facilitate where we're headed, not where we are or where we've been as a community. So it's been a really, really exciting process for us. It's been a really great thing for us to be a part of. I would say that we're probably right about almost at the 40% mark for things right now. Once the survey is conducted, a lot of the analysis and a lot of those things will be completed, and that report is due to go back and be finalized at the end of this year. So in that process, we will be bringing updates for each of the meetings that we hold here. We're going to have this item as a standing item, I guess you could say, where we're going to give you all information about where we are and kind of where we're headed for things in terms of the Parks Master Plan. So it's been a really, really exciting process for us, and I think it's going to be a great thing at the very end to be able to present a pretty comprehensive document of where we are in our parks plan, where we are in our parks planning, where we are in what the needs that the community has. So it's a really exciting process. Any questions about Parks Master Plan or any opportunities to discuss that? Sure.
I have a question about the survey of all of our assets. Suppose you'll be finished end of 2024? So it's about 40% done, is what I heard you say? Okay, so what's the next part that they're working on that? Like 40%, I'm sure it's very comprehensive. What I really wanted to get to is will that survey include budgetary recommendations as well?
Yes, it will. And so one of the great parts, if in the item on in the agenda, so task 5 is their capital improvement priority rankings and capital improvement portion of their tasks, and this is where they get into the nitty gritty of the needs that we have, and the opportunity for future CIP projects. So CIP, capital improvement projects, are call it the big ticket items that we have in our budget. And those are funded through various things, whether that be development impact fees or whether it be our general fund or in various funding sources. And those large projects get placed in there. And so as part of this, they're going to give us an updated future CIP list. And the great thing about that CIP project is it's going to take a look at future years and say, okay, for this year, these are some immediate needs, some immediate things that need to be addressed. But we're also anticipating, in 5 years, you're going to need these things. In 10 years, just from wear and tear and from overusage and all that stuff, you're going to need these items as well. And so it actually gives us a forecast of future CIP opportunities as well.
Okay, that's good. So to summarize, it'll say immediate things that have to be fixed now.
Correct.
Planning for the next 5 years.
Right.
How to maintain facilities so that they are functional and still look great. And
Yep.
then long-term
Yes.
budget assessments.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug.
And it's just recreational facilities. It's not every facility that we oversee, but it just specifically the recreational facilities.
Thank you.
Laura, I wanted to point out to you the very last page on here has a Gantt chart that'll tell you what steps they're on and what steps they next have to do. Okay.
Mhm.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's kind of why I was asking if that was highlighted.
Okay.
Yeah, so those highlighted numbers those highlighted tasks are completed right now. And then you can see the forecast of where they're headed and what they're doing. Any other questions about Parks Master Plan? No? Perfect. I know. I gotta go back and do this one, sorry. So if we go, sorry, I scrolled too fast. The last item that you have is an overview of parks maintenance and parks projects that we have. And in the future for this committee, I think one of the important parts and roles that you guys will be able to play is to help us as staff prepare and also being a mouthpiece to the community in helping us share where we are on certain projects. And in this first meeting, what we wanted to do was just give you a glimpse of all the things that we are currently overseeing in terms of a project. And that's what is included in this list of all of the community services projects that we have. So these are all of our, we call them page 87. There you go. Thanks, Kevin. Page 87 of the packet. Just the different projects that we have. We wanted to give you just a small glimpse of what they are and the things that we're looking to address. A lot of times we receive lots of questions specifically about where we are with certain things, or are you ever going to finish? You know, we get that a lot. Or are you ever going to do this? Is this happening? Is this on the horizon? And as people in the community, I'm sure as they find out that you guys are serving in this capacity and you're one of our awesome citizens who are helping out on this committee, they're going to ask you too. So the next time you're at the sports park or the next time you're at Nicholas Park or at an event, they're probably going to say, oh, well, where are we with this? And so we wanted to give you a glimpse of the projects that we are overseeing. And then in future meetings, as there's accomplishments and as there's progress on those specific projects, then what we would like to do is to be able to show you, here's where we are in this project. So we're currently in the design phase. We're currently in the construction, or this project's going out to bid, and to kind of help understand where we are in that process. And so one of the things that we will bring back to you is an update on those specific projects that we have. And if you guys have questions, if you guys want further follow-up, then we would bring those to you. Another thing that we would use these meetings for, and this committee for, is to bring design to you so that you guys can help and chime in and offer some input on those. So as we make these design, usually we receive plans and renderings and pictures and different stuff at 30% or 60% or 90% when you're designing a project. And so as those numbers and those percentage of plans were completed, then we would bring that to the committee to show you where we are. Then usually I bring those to council as well, and then I'll show them, hey, here's, just so you know, council, one, to let them know that we are working on the project, we're seeing some progress. Here's what the 30% plans look like, or here's what the 60% plans look like, and then usually as those plans are presented, then we're also able to attach a 30% budget or a 60% budget with it, so we can begin to fine tune that budget. It also allows us, which wouldn't be this committee's responsibility, but for council to know if there was, hey, this project is getting us slightly more expensive than we thought. We can start beginning to have that conversation of, do we need to go to look for some grant funding to help offset some of these costs, or is this something that we need to forecast further out in our CIP budget so we can put some additional money annually towards this project, or whatever it may be. So those are an item that would be brought to the committee as well, to show you progress and to show you where we are in some of our different various projects. And so I wanted to take you through, some of these are specific to the building, the CRC building, and some of them are very specific things, like for example, we're converting a basketball court at the CRC outside, we're converting it to a pickleball court. And so that's something that we're working on. So there are very specific things, and then other ones you'll notice are much bigger designs. So Nicholas Park, which is P05, it's maybe 5 or 6 down. Nicholas Park is a project that we just took to council last week, and we just awarded a contract for design services to a company, Community Works Design Group, CWDG. So we will be partnering with them to do the design and the construction documents for Nicholas Park. And so that'll include community outreach, community engagement. So they're going to be helping us do some pop-ups where we're going to be taking some surveys, we're going to be talking to stakeholders, we're going to be talking to the community, reaching out to the HOA for Nicholas Park, which is over in Fairway Canyon, and going through that process. And then also taking that input and then beginning a concept plan and then construction documents. And the construction documents are what we can attach to the bid document that goes out to the contractors. That's what they ultimately look at to give us a price on how much it is to build it. So we just began that process. Then we're in the midst of getting that contract signed and doing all those things right now. But so that project is a little bit broader than just one specific pickleball court. So it kind of gives you a glimpse of all the things that are happening. A couple of them that I wanted to highlight for you so that you know where we're at and some of the things that we're working on. There's a P09 and P20. Those are playgrounds and some upgrades that we're doing at 4 of our parks in the community. So we have ordered those, and those are set to be delivered at the end of next month in February. And so beginning in March, we will start installing that. That's going to be at Sunny Hills Park, which is on Cougar, and at Mountain View, which is over in Sundance, and DeForge Park, which is on Seneca and Portero, and then Star Carlton, which is just a little bit up from DeForge. It's the small pocket park over in Seneca Springs. So those ones are well underway. Some projects are to upgrade and replace completely new, and sometimes some of the projects are just to bring us into current times. So for example, there's a project on here, ISFB 08, irrigation timers. And you would think, like, why would an irrigation timer project cost that much? But this particular project, we are replacing every single irrigation timer that we have at all 18 of our parks, plus the 5 timers that control Palm Islands on Palm. And this is going to be it's an online app-ran digital timer system. That's not only something that is going to save an immense amount of staff time right now when it rains, like a day like today. If I were to turn off all of a timer so it didn't water in the rain, I would have to send staff people to all of our timers in all of a city, which is hundreds of timers that we have in parkways and everywhere else. And so we're working to a process where we can hit a single button and turn them off. And the nice thing about this particular program that we're getting is we won't even have to do adjustments for rain, because it's a water saving feature. And so it'll automatically know that, oh, there's rain in the forecast. It'll turn it off automatically for us. And so, so some of the projects are starting brand new parks. Some of the projects are replacing things that are old. And some of them are just updating us into 2024 so that we can efficiently operate and use our resources to the best of our ability. And so that's a fun one. If you were aware of the Shadow Creek Playground, which is P16, the city opened our first all-inclusive playground. And this was a fun process for Ashley and our whole entire team to be a part of. And so this particular playground is truly designed so that any child with any abilities and would be able to participate and really enjoy different elements in the park. And so the ADA wheelchair opportunities and accessibility in that park are amazing and open for everyone. But also it offers things for participants to do that maybe your child might want to come to the park and they are musically inclined and they just want to play with music. There's musical opportunities there. Or maybe your child has special needs where they can become overwhelmed easy. There's areas in this park where it's designed where they can sit quietly alone and kind of be away from all the hustle and bustle and the craziness of playing in a park and everything. And so it's really a really great amenity for our community, and we were really excited by it. ABC News came out and did a story about the park opening, and it's been a really great thing. We've driven by it numerous times, and it is completely packed every day that I've been out there, so it's a really fun thing. And so gives you a glimpse of some of the stuff that's going on. You can also see the budgets and how much was budgeted for that project, how much is remaining after encumbrances, and so encumbrances are purchase orders and things that we've assigned to that project, and then just a brief description and status of where that project is. So if there's any specific projects that you saw that you would like to know more about, you can ask and I can update you on those. But like this would be something that we would hope to regularly see in our meetings so that you guys can be up on these projects. My goal is to give you as much information as possible so that when you're out in the community and you're talking to your sphere of influence and your circle of friends and people that you interact with, that you're able to share with them, oh no, here's some great stuff coming. And then also to help provide realistic timelines. And that's probably the hardest part of our job and for our council is, creating a park and building a park from scratch is different, than putting in a patio or to do something in your own backyard. It's sometimes those projects are longer and a little more cumbersome. And so helping us articulate those timelines to the public is going to be a huge benefit for us. So if you have any questions about specific projects, please let me know. Anything? All good? Loving the projects? All of them, more of them. So the CIP list is something that's updated every year. It's part of our annual budget process. And so as we create our annual operating budgets for our department, one of the things that my team will also put together will be recommendations to our city manager for here's some current CIPs that we'd like to add to the list. And so these might change. We might see things added to it as that comes. And then again, that's how we bridge that partnership with the Parks Master Plan, is to hopefully we'll have guidance to be able to say, here's actually what's definitely coming down the list. And it's not a guessing game, or it's not something that we have to wait to find an issue on. It's something that we can be proactive about.
I got a question, Doug.
Sure.
On the sports park, synthetic turf and lights, I see status for all these other ones, but I didn't see a status on that one. What's the status of like adding the field lights and stuff?
Sure. So we actually we are almost ready to get the 60% plans from them. And so we're right about the 60% plans for that particular project. It is in our design phase right now. And that project is going to include converting the 2 southern fields of the sports park. So if you're familiar with the sports park, the 2 southern soccer fields are going to get converted into synthetic turf fields. They're going to be a full-size high school. One field will be full-size high school, and then the other one's going to be a under 12, a U12 field, and both those fields will have lights on them. The other part of that project is we're also going to be adding sports lights to the 3 ball fields, the baseball fields, on the north end of the park, and that's all one project. So we're coordinating with Edison, and we're coordinating with all the different subcontractors involved with submitting plans for each of those areas. So we're right about 60%. We're hoping to get the final 60% budget this week, actually. He owes it to me by Friday. And once we have that, then we will move forward with the 90%, 100%, and I think their goal is to have those to us at the end of April. And yeah, so if we have our 90% by April, then we would probably be going out to bid for that for construction. I would assume that would be happening in the summer. So probably early summer, we would put an RFP out and put that out and begin construction shortly after we award that contract. But my goal is to award that contract over the summer this year. They're telling us it's probably about an 8 to 10 month construction for all that. So we'll see what the contractor says. That's just what the design guys say. But we'll see what the contractor says once they award that contract. But yeah, we're excited. So hopefully next year, late spring, we'd be opening, cutting the ribbon first.
I don't necessarily have a question, but looking at all the projects, I think it's a lot for us to take in.
It is a lot for you to take in. It's a lot for us to take in too. Yeah, no, I hear you.
And I would say I would love to have questions. I mean,
absolutely.
Obviously,
sure.
the sports park is important to people like us and
right,
Stewart
absolutely.
Park and
absolutely.
that kind of stuff. But I think it's just
I could literally talk for hours on all the projects that we have, and it's being on staff here in Beaumont and being able to be a part of just our department. And this isn't even all of our CIPs. This is only the ones that happen to do with parks. And I have another CIP list for police facilities and fire stations and everything else. And just this is $23 million worth of projects that our department oversees. And it is a lot. And so I'm not trying to overwhelm you all, and nor do I expect you all to become experts on every one of these projects, but my goal is truly for you to understand and to see what we are doing and what is out there, and to know that we're, you know, it's council's desire, and that's how they've set it up for us to really make parks a priority, and I truly believe that they are here in the city of Beaumont. And if you look at our CIP list, I think that is, you know, evident, right? And so I know it's a lot. It feels probably like you're drinking out of a fire hose today, is all this information coming out at you. But in the future, I'm available to talk or to update you on anything that comes up. And so if you talk to folks, and I have a meeting tomorrow morning with Chris Call over at the ASO to talk about a couple things and to work on stuff. And so I'm always available to update each of you and members of the community as well on different parts of our projects and where they're at, just so that they understand what's coming.
Then I think my only question is, obviously, we're only gonna meet once a quarter right
Right.
now. How do we, as committee members or community members, how do we help you get that word out if we're, you know, that there's that 3-month lag time, so the
Sure.
next batch of stuff we're gonna get is probably gonna look just like this.
Right.
Is there a way that the 5 or 6 of us can get, I don't know, maybe every couple of weeks, get like a small update, so that way when we come into these meetings, we're a little more, I think,
Sure.
prepared for
Sure.
what is
Yeah.
going on? And I mean, I know soccer's gonna end here, right? Spring's gonna start up, baseball's gonna start up.
Sure.
And, you know, we're gonna have to get out and speak to some of these groups. And
Absolutely.
I just wanna know how we can help out in the
Absolutely.
best way.
I provide an update to Elizabeth, to our city manager, to Elizabeth Gibbs, and she shares that with council members for the same reason, right? Because they're in the community and they're attending meetings and they're being asked all the time. And I can tweak that to you guys as well. I would have to send that to you, Nicole, and then Nicole could send that out?
That'd be the easiest. I have a group email, so
Okay.
just send it to me.
Yeah,
and I
okay, I can work that out. To include some updates, and I can highlight some specific things on here just so you know, like, hey, this changed, all right? So some of them, you know, they're long processes, you know, like going from 30 to 60 does take 3 months sometimes. But I can highlight in there just so you all know, like, hey, just so you know, this came in. Or we're about to go out to bid. So right now there's 2 active bids that we're waiting to open the bids on, and that's for our Memorial Plaza right outside here. We're redoing the Veterans First Responders Memorial Plaza, and then 6th Street medians. We're redoing all the medians for 6th Street. So those are 2 things that are coming in, but I can tweak that report to include things that are more Parks and Rec Committee specific. But that's not a problem. I mean, I think that would be a great way. And the more, like I said, the more information you guys have, probably the less phone calls I get on Monday mornings. So,
Yeah, just for the
Yeah.
6 of us, I think it would be, I don't know, probably be pretty helpful.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And my goal is that you become more familiar with these projects as we'll do presentations about them. We'll be able to show you renderings. We'll be able to show you progress on certain things. And so my vision for committee meetings in the future would be, hey, here's where we're at with the sports park design. Here's the latest set of renderings for the Veterans Memorial Plaza. Here's where we are on certain things. And so becoming more and more familiar with those. But you're right. I mean, the next meeting, I don't even know when the next meeting is. April, right? So there'll be a lot of things that'll change between now and April, absolutely.
And I have a suggestion along those lines as well. I think that some of the bigger projects would be helpful to get everyone up to speed, at least where we are. I noticed that the 3 that I'm thinking of are the sports park with the turf and lights, which you gave us a brief preview. The Stewart Park, I think, would be big if everyone, because you have 90% plans received. That's going to be coming to council before anything else, I hope, right?
Yeah,
And also, anytime there's an item on our agenda, the city
Right.
council agenda, that everyone is alerted to that. would
Right,
be
and that's what I was
helpful as well.
thinking I might do, Councilmember White, is send you a couple of links so that you can have, because before the existence of this committee, I would take it straight to city council and I would provide them an update. So I can give you the last versions of those updates that went to council, and that'll help as well bridge some of those gaps. And they'll be a little older, those updates, but it'll give you a lot of great background information on those projects.
And the thing about the Stewart Park is that we've been working on this for many years, and it looks like it's starting to get to the point where things are gonna start moving along. And I would think most people who have questions about our parks are gonna either be Stewart Park or the sports park
Yeah,
predominantly, so.
yeah.
I was gonna ask about Stewart Park, so I'm really glad that you brought that up.
Yeah,
Because that is the oldest
Sure.
park that has been on everyone's collective mind about what's gonna
Yeah.
happen, what's happening there. And
Right.
I myself kind of lost, I don't want to say lost interest, but I just lost track because I had other things
Sure.
to think about. So
Well,
it was
I think
it
we've
was in
done
my mind,
design
like,
on
what's it gonna
it
look
2 or
like?
3 times now.
Right.
Yeah.
So it has
Yeah.
changed a lot. But
Yes.
also, people need to know that we are, we're under budgeted on it, correct? We're still missing some,
We have some, so we ended up having to split the project into 2 phases. And so we've got everything for phase 1, which is gonna cover a large majority of the park design. The process has been very, very long. We've been coordinating with a lot of different agencies. Riverside County Flood Control, because there's the flood basin on the 11th Street portion of the park. Edison, our water district. There's water easements that run through the park as well. And so there's been those coordination items. And the project itself has, like Councilmember White mentioned, we've redesigned it and numerous times and have had to tweak major things to accommodate certain amenities that we're putting in there. So we're in the process of submitting a grant, and we're going to be submitting a grant for the second phase. There's a little bit more that's needed, and if we're unsuccessful in getting that grant, then we'll talk to council and we'll see what we can do to fix that and to get those items covered as well. The items in phase 1 would be your splash pad, the playground, the new restroom facility, all new turf, all new design, ADA pathways, sidewalks all the way around. All those things would be covered in Stewart Park. Now, phase 2 is going to be a couple things like the amphitheater, I forget what they're called, covered basketball courts, the gazebos, I'm sorry, like these large pavilions, that's the word, pavilions. There's 2 large pavilions for party rentals and different stuff. Those would be in phase 2. And then the turf area on the southern portion of the park, which is where the current baseball field sits. Those things are part of phase 2. And so we're kind of tweaking those a little bit as we move towards that. We're very close to having the 90% plans. 90% plans are done and moving forward to creating the final bid document and moving forward with that. So we're hoping to have that out to bid probably early March is our goal.
I think our last staff report that you gave us at city council would fill
Yeah.
you in on all of what you just said.
Absolutely.
It breaks it all down, shows you maps, pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's good to manage people's expectations on how long, where we are in the process, how long it's gonna take, the
Yeah.
fact that there are still some hurdles to getting
Yeah.
it completed, yeah.
And what it'll look like at the end, it's pretty exciting. In those slides, the last council meeting, there was a before and after. It's pretty exciting to see what it's going to look like afterwards. But I will compile some links, so you don't have to dive into agenda after agenda after agenda looking for my items. I'll submit some links and email it to Nicole, and she'll email it out to everybody. And then when you have a chance, just read through those, and those will give you some great updates. Absolutely. Any other projects? Stewart, you said Stewart, Sports Park, and then what was the third one?
Well, the other one was, but I think you talked about it, and I think we're probably too soon in the process, is Nicholas Park. is
Right,
also the-
right,
So
yeah.
those are the three big ones,
Absolutely.
both by dollar and number of community members that it will impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Any other comments or anything from the agenda?
No, I don't have any further. Anybody else?
I think we're on, which item are we on now? We're just
We're
getting,
just-
you
I
just
think
did
we're all
goals and
done.
objectives?
Yeah.
Okay. And you did staff comments?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think we're on.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, we kind of talked about goals and objectives, and I wanted to describe what future meetings might look like for all of you. So let's go to staff comments. Nothing? That's all me. I don't have any other comments. I've talked enough. So, yeah, I'm done. I don't need anything else unless my staff has anything you want to add.
I would like to invite you all to our second annual Shamrock Jam on Sunday, March 10th at the CRC. We're going to have a live band, and Craft Lounge will be joining us, as well as Cornerstone Barbecue. So it's a great opportunity to check out our outdoor amphitheater at the CRC. It's a cute little venue, and we have a live Irish band that's going to be playing. And in addition to that, we have a Mardi Gras masquerade dance for our senior residents. So anyone 55 plus is welcome to join us on Tuesday, February 13th.
4th, yeah.
So we're also going to have a live band and dancing at that event. So
Ashley also didn't mention when she was talking, but she oversees the senior center with her staff at the CRC. And so not only is she putting out programming and events for the entire community, but also our seniors that come to the senior center and our senior community as well. And they've done some very fun and awesome events this last year and continue to do that. One of the things that I'm most proud of, to brag about her crew, is we have a partnership with the Riverside County agency, FSA, Family Services Association, and they serve hot meals to seniors. We started this partnership with them maybe a little over a year ago, and we were serving just one meal on Thursdays, hot lunch, and it's free. I think they do a suggested donation of $2 or something if anyone wants to, but most don't. And they come and they're provided a hot meal. This year, Ashley was able to work with FSA and negotiate, and now we are doing hot meals 5 days a week at our senior center. And it's been really great opportunity. So we're doing 2 days of breakfast brunch, and then 3 days of lunch. And it's been a great opportunity to connect with seniors in our community who might not have some of the amenities in their, say, some of our senior communities have some great amenities and some great services, but there's a lot of seniors in our community that aren't necessarily tied to those, and it's been a great thing to offer, great service to offer. Also, just being able to address any low income or at-risk individuals who food and making sure they're getting meals each day is of concern to them. This is something that we've been able to offer to our community, and it's been a great success. And so Ashley's done some fun stuff with our seniors. Also offered the first speed dating event for our seniors, and it was a huge success. And when she first told me, I thought, Ashley, this will never work. This will be crazy. And then I checked in. I was like, hey, how many people signed up? And it was like 70 people or something came to the speed dating event. I was like, oh my goodness. Did great. And we've got one successful couple who are continuing to, it's been great. So she's been doing a lot of fun things.
I
and
hope to host their wedding.
that's right, in the future.
That's the goal.
But we do have a great community, and the county also offers a lot of services that we partner with, and so we do taxes for seniors, and her and her crew do a lot of great things for our senior community here in Beaumont. And so she didn't mention that earlier in her talk, but hats off to her crew. Yeah, it's all good. hats off.
Is there a way that we can get some of those like community dates that maybe we don't necessarily see all the
Absolutely.
time or
Sure.
don't catch on social media or whatever?
Sure. And we do an events, or upcoming events, upcoming opportunities that go out to council members and to different committees and commissions and stuff. I will put ones that are pertinent to us. And I would encourage you guys to attend, and I will always, the invite is always there for any of our events, and I will definitely inform you about those events as well, and make sure that
Ashley's
you guys.
really, if you guys are on Facebook, Ashley is really good about posting the events way ahead of time on there. If you follow so it's a separate page, separate from the city. It's Parks and Recreation.
It's BMT Parks. And we have an Instagram as well.
But we will make an effort to inform and give you guys a list of our calendars. And I think we just actually put out some pretty cool, or we're going to put out some social media stuff on all of the events that are coming up for the year.
I forgot 2 more that we just added. So we have another our craft corner. So we're going to be doing that at the end of the month. And then we're also going to do our first ever Puzzle Palooza. So we have lots of people who are very interested in puzzles. It's very fun. So we have teams of people. Everyone's going to be doing the same puzzle in a timed amount. So we'll have prizes and raffles for that. So we're very excited to see how well that goes over.
We do a lot, and we will let you know of all those things that are coming.
I'm just going to say that if we get that information, I know a lot of the people that live in my community would be very excited to see that, because they
Yeah.
don't see it. They pay a lot of attention to who's running red lights, and stop signs, and other things. But I think that would be
Yeah.
a really great refocus for people to know
Yeah.
that we're doing all these amazing things. So that's one of the reasons why I'm
Sure.
really interested in that as well, like getting that information ahead. Trust me, there's ways we can spread those words too, even if it brings in one person. It's one person who wasn't able to participate in something that found a great activity to do or a great connection, so.
And that's why we're really excited too about kicking off the city news. So hopefully, if each of you guys were able to receive the magazine that we
Got
put
it.
together, and that's this last couple weeks ago when it first came out. That was our first one that went out to the community that explains a lot of our events, and that's going to be an ongoing magazine that's going to come out 4 times a year. And Ashley and our PIO here at the city do a great job putting that together and getting all that information out there as well. But we will give you a list of events that are coming up, and and I would encourage you guys to be a part of those. We'll work on getting some stuff. I gave you a few. Each of you got some swag that we have for Parks and Rec, and I will work on a couple of other things to come your way so that we can identify you at events and stuff if you want to be identifiable when you come to our events. But I will get you some of that stuff as well. But we wanted to give you just a little thank you for being on the team. Thank you for submitting an application and jumping through the hoops so that you can be on this committee. And we are always happy to have community members that want to be involved. And so hats off go to you guys. So thank you. And this is City Council representative comments. I think that means
I guess that would be
that'd
me.
that would be you, sir. That would
Okay.
be you.
So let me start by telling you all that parks are really important to us. A lot of people use our parks, and everyone has their input, their suggestions. And over the years, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, trying to keep up to speed on the sports park, Stewart Park, we rebuilt the Wrangell Park, and we have a lot of activities going on, a lot more. I mean, 20 million's a lot of money for these projects. So we needed this committee, and this committee is important to us because it helps us get an input from the community before it gets to us. So I think that's our job as committee members. This is the third major committee that we put together. We have the economic development and the finance. And I just want to let you know that at the start, it may be a little slow It also may be a little bit overwhelming, but we can make of this committee what we want to make of it. So I think we really have a blank slate here. If you guys have suggestions, recommendations, please bring them to us. And my goal is a number of these committees, sometimes people lose interest because they just don't feel like they're really doing anything. And that's important to me, is that we don't get to that point, because then people stop showing up and we just don't accomplish what we want to do. So that's why I'm hoping, this is, I think I'm not on finance accounting anymore, finance and audit, but that's a quarterly too at this point.
It's the same evening.
Yeah.
It is later today.
Yeah, but that's boring stuff to begin with, so. So I'm just saying, if we can find a way to sort of keep in touch between the quarters. So that when
Absolutely.
we have a meeting like this, we come in with some suggestions, ideas. You don't need to wait till the next meeting for your suggestions. Just send them all to Doug, and then, we'll
Absolutely.
work it out. So,
Yeah. And I'll
but
make
again,
sure
This
that,
is an important committee to us, and we will be looking for your input going forward on big projects, on all our park projects. That's all I had to say.
absolutely. Feel free to contact me anytime. Committee comments.
So this is a point where each of us, if we have something to bring up, suggest, or talk about, this is where you have an opportunity to say what you want to say.
No, I just want to say thanks. I mean, it's a lot, and I think being up here and representing the community, whether it's a sports organization or the sports organizations or the parks as well, I mean, it's all super important. And I think, speaking for myself, it's intriguing. It's just a lot. So, that information that we'll get over the next quarter will be fantastic, because I think then we can formulate questions and comments and those kinds of things that can really help us out. I mean, we got the information a few days ago, and I looked at the first 90 pages, and
Right.
so, and I know ultimately we all have something that's super important to us. And my passion is youth sports, so that'll be the passion for me. So, however we can help you, however I can help you, I'm all ears. Just a phone call or an email away.
Perfect.
I'm actually really excited. With my job, I actually have to go to several other city council meetings, and so I was looking up these different cities in San Bernardino, and we're one of the last ones to have a Parks and Rec committee. So I was kind of surprised on that, but kind of excited to be involved with it.
I can take another comment as a committee member. I just want to let you guys know that I personally would like to see you participate as much as we are, with the exception of the voting. But I hope that you are not here feeling like you're just, need to remain silent. You're more than welcome to speak up and provide your input.
I asked her that. I said, "Can we talk?" I didn't know.
Yes.
I didn't know what the parameters were or whatever,
Absolutely.
but I knew we couldn't vote, but yeah.
Yeah, when he asks you, or anyone asks you if we have any questions, that includes you too as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate that comment too. I want to say how much I appreciate being able to have this opportunity. I think representing our community in the Parks and Rec area is really important, because it is so visible. It's the one thing that you can look at in a city and see how we're doing. And so when you look at our park systems and our programs, I think the programs are pretty impressive. I think that creativity on the programs is off the chart. That speed dating thing was great. I tried to get some of my neighbors to go, and they were a little gun shy, but I'll work on that. I was also going to say that I'm really happy that all of us are here, and that all of us are on this committee, including our alternates, and I just wish we all could be up here. But I'm excited to be here to be able to see where we're going forward. Because as Doug knows, I have a lot of ideas floating around of things that I've seen in other cities and other park systems. And the great things here, plus the great things I've seen everywhere, really make our community really strong, and it can be even better than it already is. We've come so far. So I'm thrilled and excited to be able to be here. My passion may not be the sports elements, but I'm still right there with you. I just like all the other stuff too. I like the quiet places. I like the not so quiet places. I like the trails. I like all of that. So I like water. No. So I'm excited to be here, and I really am grateful for the opportunity. So thank you so much.
Good. You guys have any comments? Anything else you want to add? Speak now.
No, I'm the same way. I, like Eric over here, I'm more focused on the sports, but I've seen this this whole town grow from, I mean, when I graduated, I think we had 900 kids in the whole school, and I think they have, so I think the parks and growing and the lights, that's why I asked about the lights at the sports park, because that's a big deal, because there's a lot of kids out here that need facilities, you know, like I'm a lot of focused on Wrangell Park, but I like to see the city grow too with the nice parks and stuff, so, and the other facilities. I like everything too.
I just appreciate, being able to be part of this and hopefully bring more positive community activities to the city.
Absolutely. Well, I do appreciate all of you being here, and I do look forward to seeing you again in April, and hopefully I see you numerous times at other events and other things prior to that. Please feel free to, if you've got a question or if someone asks you something and you don't know the answer to, please, those are the questions that I want you to forward to me, or just, hey, Doug, someone asked this, I have no clue what they're saying or what they're asking. Please let me help and let me get you the right information and get them the right information as well. So I want to be a resource for each of you as well. So I think that's it. So we can adjourn the meeting at 5:21.